Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Heaps of you coming in tonight, which is great. And we've got a really exciting show tonight, getting your Facebook out of the doldrums and working for you. This is something that is relevant to most vets. We get heaps of questions about this. In fact, it's one of the reasons why we provide our Facebook service, is to help clinics get their sites working or their pages working. All right, so just as a bit of housekeeping, I'm recording this, so we'll have a recording session afterwards, and you can get your copy of the actual notes if you'd like them. Plus, there's a survey at the end, so if you could answer that, it'd be great to give us some feedback as to how to do things differently, and also what sort of help you need. And what I'm going to do is put this into preview mode. Now, for those people who haven't joined us before, there's a few tonight. The way it works is if you want to ask a question, I can't hear you talking, and the reason for that is because there's so many people on the webinar. But what I can do is you can type a note. So if you could I might ask you now, can you hear okay? And if you can, could you just type a note for me? And that'll pop up on the screen. So if you could go ahead and do that now, that'd be really good. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get started. You should be able to see my screen, getting your Facebook page working or out of the doldrums and working for you. And what other housekeeping do we have? Oh, yes, we're going to keep it on time. So I'm going to finish at 7:30. We all have other things to do, and I think we can get across the information pretty effectively in that time. But if you have questions, just hoy. Okay, hoy out. Let's see if we can get this into a format so we can actually see so you can see the screen. There you go, that should be a full screen for you now. And someone's little note, we can hear you. Awesome, good on you, Kim, thank you very much for that. So as Kim's just done, just write a note if you've got any questions. Let's get started. All right. Now, obviously, like my little picture there of the boat, I am intimating that your Facebook page is not working particularly well. Now, that's going to be the case for most clinics. There are some clinics who are in the webinar tonight who have Facebook pages that are working really well. One in particular I can think of where the Facebook page is actually for lost animals in their area, and they're doing extremely well. But generally, vet practice website, Facebook pages do struggle, and we'll go through why that is and then what things we can do to fix it. Yeah, let me just make sure we're on. Okay, so for tonight, we're going to obviously focus on Facebook. Look at where you're up to now and whether it's worth doing with what you've got now. And if it's not, what are you going to do about it? And then look at those practical steps. So this is a bit about me. I'm your presenter. This is me on the right here, appearing with some lovely people at the national roadshow that I ran this year with AVAPM and Bayer, and this was in Brisbane. So my background is, for those of you who I haven't met, is I am a vet, and I started this company, PetPack, about a bit more than 10 years ago in order to increase the communication between vet clinics and pet owners. And we started with email newsletters a long time ago, really basic format, and we've expanded that into a much more sophisticated email newsletter, websites, and Facebook. All right, so let's start with a bit of research. Now, this is important because it underpins a lot of what we do with communications when you communicate from a vet clinic to a pet owner. PetPack, my company, has done research, and this research, the findings have been supported by other studies, particularly in the US as well. But basically, the summary of all that is that if you look at what pet owners' main problems are, and problems are important because problems are what we need to be trying to deal with, as opposed to trying to guess what pet owners are worried about. We go and ask them. The first one is they want to know what to do and when, so they need specific instructions, and if they can get them from you, that's a really good thing. And the second one is they want to get access to good quality information that they can trust. Now, you'd think that vet clinics are doing both of those things, but clinics generally don't do it. They might do a little bit of it. So an example of that might be a clinic will send a vaccination reminder once a year, or an event that's required once a year to pet owners, but they won't do much more about helping them do all the other jobs. For every dog and cat, there's a job you've got to do every month, and there's not much support that comes from practices. So pet owners are saying they want more help, and they also want better access to information that they can trust. And this is relevant to what we do with Facebook. So a couple of studies that back up that research, if you're interested to have a look at those. AHA's 2003 compliance study and the NCVEI study 2011. So look, the summary of that is that if you're going to be out there in the community presenting yourself and communicating with clients and non-clients, which is what Facebook's all about, there's a real opportunity and a need from pet owners for you to actually lead. And we call it being king of the community, or the leader in animal healthcare in the local community. And if you're going to do that, you need to look and think about what sort of content goes on your Facebook page. And you'll find often that content is not appearing on vet clinic Facebook pages. All right, so give your clients access to better quality information in a way that they can digest and act on. Facebook is one of those. Have you noticed how often people look at their Facebook pages now? Email, obviously another one. In fact, email is still the predominant and the best way to communicate with clients. But also look at how people are using apps. The need and the use of mobile devices to get information is really important if you're going to be useful in the way you get that info out to people. So Facebook's app is a really useful and good app, and you'll find people using that a lot. All right, so getting stuck into Facebook, what is it? Why are we doing it? And, it's important to actually get grounded as to what we're actually trying to achieve with Facebook. And a description that makes sense to me and I like is that it's like going to the dog park. Now, I met a vet once whose only marketing that he did was he sent a staff member down to the local dog park on a regular basis, and she built up loyal client relationships that way, which then ended up coming to the practice. And so Facebook is really the same thing. Most vets don't go to the dog park on a regular basis or have staff members in those dog parks on a regular basis. They're too busy. You're too busy doing the job in the clinic. Well, Facebook is a way for you to get out there in the community and converse with people without actually leaving your clinic. So that makes a lot of sense. And if you can imagine how you'd present yourself if you were at the dog park, you'd be the voice of authority, and you'd make sure that you said things that were sensible and made strong recommendations where necessary, but you'd also have fun. I think that's a good guideline for how you manage your Facebook. And then why choose Facebook? Well, the main reason is that it's really the local community saying that you're good people. So you'll get your clients and people that know you saying these guys are good guys, and that's really important. So it's about word of mouth. Word of mouth from your existing clients, getting new people coming. And it's being used by about half your clients, so that's why it's a good thing to look at. And in terms of it being measured, there are measurements about Facebook, but there are very few measurements about what it does for your business. So we need to make that pretty clear. Whereas with email and websites, we can measure exactly what it does for your business. You can't do that with Facebook. So we need to understand when we're going into this, we're doing it because it's primarily a branding exercise, which doesn't have a strong measurement of what you get back for that. And this is what I've just said here. It's really the two main benefits of it are building your brand and in terms of generating sales, we don't have any data that says you generate sales on Facebook. Of course you do, because if people like you and they hear about you through their friends on Facebook, they're more likely to come and see you. But really, if you are going to get a sale from anything online, you need to encourage those people to then go to your website, because it's from your website where you can actually measure the results. All right, so any questions before we get into the current status? Nothing coming in. No other questions at the moment. Okay, so current status, the average vet Facebook page. Now, obviously, not a very happy looking face here. And the reason for that is because most veterinary Facebook pages are undercooked. And that means you've got low fans, so there's not many people who are receiving your messages or even said they want to receive your messages. And the average clinic sitting at around 150. And low engagement, and that means that there's not much interest in the page. Now, let's put a couple of let's just talk about these two things. These are the two most important things about a Facebook page. If you have low fans and low engagement, one of the things you probably don't realize is that Facebook frowns upon your page, meaning just because you have 150 fans and you post something, it doesn't mean those 150 fans will see it. In fact, if you've got a poorly operating page, Facebook will only allow about 12 to 15% of those people to see that post. So that means you might have, 20 people see your post, which is very low. Now, if you start thinking about how much effort goes into the page to get to those 20 people each time you post, it looks very uneconomic. So, it's not unusual for staff members in clinics to spend 10 to 20 hours a month on a Facebook page. And if you're only getting through to 20 or 50 people, it's a very poor use of your resources. So from my perspective, it's important to note that if your Facebook page is sitting like this, it's time to decide what to do about it. If you continue to operate it at this level and you're putting in the same amount of resources you have been, it's not a good use of your time. And there might be some other problems with it too. However, there's lots of things you can do to change that, which we'll cover today. So this is a good time for me to talk about what we can do to help you with that. In terms of getting your Facebook page set up correctly, then we have an ebook service, which includes a Facebook expert working on your page for an hour. And that's our pet pack person who runs all our Facebook pages. So that's a really strong amount of focus on your page to get it sorted out. You get a guide on how to set up your page correctly. And then what we'll do is actually make sure those changes get done on your page. You get also, as part of the ebook, you get a content schedule and information on how to run paid promotions and some display signs for your clinic. And the ebook's actually a great resource, and that's $250 ex-GST. It's a really great way for people to start to improve their Facebook page. So that'll get it set up properly. So let's have a look now at the 5 main reasons or ways that clinics are not succeeding with their Facebook page. And I've already sent you a couple of tips on this, and we're gonna skim through these and have a look. But these are really important. These are the main things that people are doing that are causing their pages to not operate properly. So the first one, and this is actually the least important. So number 5 is talking politics. You'd be surprised how offensive some of the posts are on clinic Facebook pages. Now, interestingly, at the recent at AVA in Perth, there was a fantastic lecture on this particular topic. And to summarise, a lot of the older members of the audience in the lecture theatre thought that the misbehaviour was coming from young people in their teams on Facebook. So it's often the case where the older person who runs or owns the clinic is worried about the younger people doing stuff on Facebook which is inappropriate. Well, actually, it turned out that while that may occur, the older people's understanding of what was appropriate and what was not appropriate on Facebook was pretty limited, or sometimes was flawed. So it's not just young people causing problems. Anyway, so really the message here is you've got to stay on your brand message and provide clear pet healthcare and pet emotional messages. Number 4 in the how to fail list is sell, sell, sell. Facebook is a social media. It's about being in the dog park and talking to people about how they're going, how awesome their animals look, and how they're going, and don't they like each other, and isn't that fantastic? And really not promoting your products and services the whole time. So employing the 80-20 rule is not a bad guide. So 80% conversation and emotional connection, and 20%, hey, we've got a promotion on, or we recommend you take up this offer. Number 3, use a personal account rather than a business page. There are a significant number of vet clinic Facebook pages that are set up as personal pages, which is incorrect. And at the extreme level, this violates Facebook terms of use, meaning you can be penalised for it. But at a more practical level, it's very difficult for someone who's looking for a vet and using Facebook as a way to find someone to actually find you if you've got a personal page. You need to be set up as a business page. And there's a bunch of other benefits as well, which we'll get to. So action here is convert your personal account to a business page. And as we're talking about these things, make a note of the things in your mind that you might do as actions for as your Facebook page, and I'll ask you about them at the end. Here you go. Here's a picture of a veterinary clinic that set up their Facebook page as a personal page. And the giveaway signs are that they have friends instead of likes or fans. If you've got friends, you've got the wrong setup. As a result of that, it lacks all this really key stuff that's useful for a business page, like maps, reviews, post to page, and apps. You can't do a lot of the functionality that you do with a business page on a personal page. And look, to understand why this happens, a lot of people set these pages up as personal pages before they understood the role of business pages in Facebook, or Facebook has developed their service a lot more since then. So it was less clear in the past, a long time ago anyway. Number 2, being inconsistent. Now this is an extremely common problem where you've got multiple people posting or managing your Facebook page and they're not singing off the same song sheet. And so what happens is that the content they're putting on varies, the type of content, the tone, the way they respond. And so when you look at it from a consumer's perspective of someone reading the page, they get a very confused message about what that business, what the vet clinic is about. So this is where it's really important to sit down as a group and determine what it is you're going to post on Facebook and how you're going to manage your Facebook page, and then use what we call a content timetable. A lot of you guys do use content timetables after talking to us. It's something which is very simple to construct, but vital and really powerful for how you manage your content. And it can influence also the content that goes into your email newsletters and your websites as well. And the number one reason why clinics are not doing well is because they are posting rarely. So they're posting less than twice a week, and they're missing out as a result. Now, the other part of it is that they're posting less than twice a week, but they're also not responding to clients' comments. So if you don't engage in the conversation, this is a bit like going down to the dog park, if we use the analogy again, and then just standing over in the corner or sitting in your car, or sitting on the bonnet of your car even, and letting your dog have a pee on the fence, but you're never going anywhere near anyone else and talking to anyone. And, in these cases, you're really not wasting a lot of staff time because you're not doing much, but you're missing the potential. So that's why our solution here is to create a monthly schedule that follows your Facebook strategy. And that means knowing what you're going to post on what day and get your posts up to 4 times a week. All right, so what's a good target? We've talked about the problems. So a good target is 1,000 fans. There are a small number, but a growing number of vets that have 1,000 fans or more now. And it's just terrific to see it. And 1,000 fans is achievable for almost every clinic in Australia, because if you've got 2,000 active clients, it's half your active clients, and half those active clients are on Facebook. So it makes sense you can get 1,000 fans, and it doesn't have to happen overnight. You just need to work towards it. So you get 1,000 fans, but you don't just go and buy 1,000 fans from some dodgy online sale. You get real people who like your business, and because they like you and you're doing posting 4 times a week and you're responding to their comments, they will be engaged. So that means they'll be interested in what you've got to do, and that will help feed more people into your system. And when you've got this page list, you'll be talking to clients, and you'll be talking to prospective clients, and those prospective clients will be sussing you out and probably deciding to come and see you because you've got 1,000 people and they're all engaged. And with all these posts you're putting on for these people, you'll be driving traffic back to your clinic website. And how do you do that? Well, you link back to your website and give them a good reason to go there, because that's when they're going to call you. And calling is what you need them to do, because that's how you get the appointments booked in. All right, so how do you achieve that? How do you get to your 1,000 engaged fans? Well, you need structure. The way it's set up, you need good content, you need regularity, you need to be actually responding with your fans, and you need to look maybe at doing promotions and paid advertising. So let's go through that now. How are we going for time? Any questions at this stage? All right. All right, let's keep moving. Now, this is the second part of the service that we provide. So if you do want to grow your Facebook page to 1,000, we have a monthly advisory and content service. And this is where most clinics will use the service after they've used the ebook. They start with the ebook, get the structure set up, and then they go on to a monthly service because they want to hit that 1,000 target. So you get our Facebook expert advice, 30 minutes a month, which is to review the page, write a report, and make recommendations what has to happen in the next month, which goes back to your staff member who's running the Facebook page plus the owner of the practice. And that's really important so that both of those people in the practice are on the same wavelength about what's going on. Then we have a program to build fans and engagement, which we do some of the work and you do some of the work. We do automated scheduled posts. So our chief veterinary writer produces veterinary posts which get put onto your page, which supplement the material you're already doing. And then we do the monthly review and feedback. And for that, the service is $100 a month ex GST. And you can do it for as long as you like. You can do it for 1 month, or you can do it for, ongoing. All right, so let's have a look at the first bit is correct page structure. So you need a page name. Too many clinics have got garbled URLs. Well, you need to make that change and get your clinic name into the page name and the URL. You need to complete your about section, which is self-explanatory. You go in there and have a look and make sure it's filled out. You'd be surprised how many clinics haven't done this. You need to activate your maps and reviews. And then you need to look at your profile and cover photos. And if we have a look at an example, which we'll get to in a minute, we'll have a look at Port Adelaide. So here's a snapshot of their page, which is showing you their about section. So first of all, you've got their logo as their profile picture, so it's very clear that who you're talking about. Their cover photo, this big photo here, is updated regularly. Their maps are activated and the contact details are correct and complete. And in the about section, they've listed the as much detail as they can in there. And one thing which they hadn't done at this stage was to mention their surrounding suburbs and areas, which is a good idea to do. Then you've got a list of services. Over here, you've got your opening hours, any other information. So that's your first bit to do. High quality content. So what you need here is you need a consistent tone. So this comes down to you working out what your Facebook strategy is, what your most important message is. Now, for example, a lot of Facebook pages are run by one person, usually a younger person in the practice. The owner doesn't really engage with what's going on, doesn't really want to know what's going on. They leave it up to the younger person. The younger person doesn't sit down with the owner and work out what the branding message is going to be. And when I mean branding messages, what impression are people going to get when they look at this page? And so what happens is that younger person's really into cute pups and kittens, and they take great photos and put them on the page, which have a lot of value, but that's all that goes on there. Then that brand of being the leader in healthcare in your local community is not there. It's much more about, if it's just puppies and kittens, it's about I love puppies and kittens. And that doesn't do your business any good. In that case, it's probably not going to be detrimental to you. Whereas other unplanned posts can be detrimental, but it's certainly not going to position yourselves as the leader, the go-to people for help when it comes to animal healthcare. All right, so you also need variety. So there's sort of four main areas. First of all, we need personalised original content. So that could be case of the day or puppy of the month or wildlife case that's come in, and also about your staff and your clients with their permission. Then, where relevant, you want to have web links. Now, particularly, you want to link back to your website if possible, because why is that? Well, it's because if you can get these people to come back to your website, they're much more likely to ring you. The third area is pet care advice. This is the area that's usually missing on vet clinic pages. It's really important to have strong healthcare recommendations on there. And you can make them fun and interesting, but you need to make the recommendations clear. And don't be surprised if people don't respond to these posts, but they position yourselves as the leader. And then finally, community announcements are really good. So ideal posting frequency. Well, look, really aim for 4 times a week and spread it out. And that number might change over time, but currently that's the most effective frequency. Engage with fans, and this is really about responding. People that are concerned about complaints or negative comments, it's going to happen. And look, to a great extent, it's much better if it does happen on a Facebook page because you can see it. And we have processes for dealing with that. It doesn't happen very often, but basically the process is acknowledge it and then don't communicate with that person on the Facebook page anymore. Tell them you're going to contact them off the page, and you'll find that most of your clients, almost all of them, will understand that you guys are trying to do the right thing anyway and will support you. Finally, promotions and paid advertising. These can really help you. So we've had quite a few examples with our clients where they've boosted their fans significantly by running promotions or paid advertising. And there are guidelines. So if you go to just search for on Google for Facebook promotions, you'll get and you'll come to this link here. There's heaps of information on there about how to do it. All right, so here's an example of a case study, a promotion with an app. Now, this was done with Wollonga and Aldinga down in SA, and their idea was to grow their page, and it costs very little to run these promotions. We set up the promotion with the app for them, the app being an app, in this case being an app that sits on the page. I'll show you a picture in a minute. But they collected email addresses from the Facebook page by asking people to put their email address in, but they grew their fan base by 50%. So that is, you want examples of how you can get to 1,000. Well, this is a really good example. All right, so here's a bit of a description of what the app looks like. It sits on the Facebook page, and you can see there's information here about what the promotion's all about. And then there was a slightly different one for people who are clients and people who aren't, but basically they wanted you to go into the draw to win a wellness package and then provide your email address as well. The paid advertising part of it at the moment is really cost effective with Facebook. It doesn't cost a lot you might spend $20 or $30 promoting your posts, and you can target them. There's a lot of control over where those ads appear. And you can get some really good exposure that way. So just finally on sales from Facebook pages, it's not a sales environment. So we've talked about this before, but you must encourage people to go to your website. Interesting, if you want sales, what you want to do is use, I'll just take this off here, email. Here's a little report here, which I love to show. Email is crushing Twitter, Facebook for selling stuff online. So if you want to actually sell something, let's have a look at this graph here. You want to use email. So this is where the email newsletter comes into play, because if you can send a strong recommendation to your clients about services, you're much more likely to get them to respond if it's on email than if it's with Facebook down here. All right. So just in the last couple of minutes, what does Facebook success look like? Where are you going to be at? You're going to have high fans, you're going to have high engagement, you're going to have good use of staff time, you're going to get some expert help because that's going to help you fine-tune your staff time. You're going to be promoting your brand consistently, and you're going to encourage people to go back to your website as much as possible. So at the end of this webinar, which we're coming up to now, we have a survey, which I'd really like you to fill in if you can. And that will give information back to me about things that you're interested in or other areas you want to know more about. And also, as I said before, we'll send out the recording. Anything else you need, let me know. And finally, as in the words of the famous Hawthorne coach, just do something. I would like you now to name your top action items. You can jot them down on your own bit of paper. You can stick them in the survey for me, and I'd love to know what you're going to do about improving your current Facebook page. So just to finalise, if you want help setting up your Facebook page correctly, I'd recommend you get the ebook service. So that includes an hour of our experts' time on your page, plus the book, which gives you a whole bunch of information on how to run your page properly, and that goes for $250 ex-GST. And if you want to grow the page to 1,000, then the Facebook Monthly Advisory and Content Service is for you. You get our time working on your page every month with a plan and a report plus automated post, and that goes for $100 a month ex-GST, and you can run that for as long as you like. So outcomes from today, what I want you to do is to leave with some practical steps of how to better manage your page. And I think if you didn't get all the notes down in now, you'll get the recording so you can get them, and you should be able to do some great things with that straight up. And if you want further help from us, you know where to come, and we'd love to help you. So that's the end, and I'd like to thank you, all of you, for coming from all over the country today, and enjoy your socialising. We'll be out there metaphorically in the dog park, hopefully not in the dog house. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for a great night, and I will speak to you all soon. Good night.